Manchester United's fascination with Jarrad Branthwaite appears far from over. The Premier League giants are reportedly plotting yet another attempt to lure the Everton defender to Old Trafford, this time with their sights set firmly on the year 2026. For supporters of the Red Devils, the name Branthwaite is hardly unfamiliar. The powerful centre-half has been on the radar of United for the better part of 3 years, regularly linked with a high-profile switch away from Merseyside. In recent months, however, whispers of United's pursuit seemed to have quietened. Instead, the club appeared to divert their focus towards strengthening other areas of the squad, leaving speculation around Branthwaite's future to simmer in the background. But according to a fresh report from Court Offside, Manchester United's interest in the Everton stalwart is very much alive. In fact, insiders claim the club are preparing to revisit the idea of securing his signature when the transfer market opens in 2026. The 23-year-old is said to remain firmly on United's shortlist of defensive targets. The recruitment team view him as an ideal candidate to play a leading role in the ongoing rejuvenation of their backline, a long-term project that has been brewing under the new regime. That process of renewal may soon become a necessity. Harry Maguire, the club's former captain and a polarizing figure among fans, is approaching the end of his current deal. With his contract set to expire next year, United face a delicate decision over whether to retain his services or to finally part ways. Should Maguire depart, as many predict, there will be a sizable gap at the heart of United's defence. The hierarchy have made it clear they wish to fill that vacancy with a young, talented, and physically dominant centre-half, qualities Branthwaite has consistently demonstrated at Everton. Viewed through that lens, Branthwaite ticks many of the boxes. At a towering 6 feet 5 inches, he is imposing in the air yet surprisingly assured with the ball at his feet. Evertonians regard him as one of their finest prospects in years, and it is precisely this pedigree that has piqued United's interest time and again. Sources close to Old Trafford suggest the club's intent this time is genuine. Far from being speculative noise, the Red Devils are said to be laying the groundwork for a formal proposal, one designed to test Everton's resolve and tempt them into doing business. The figures being circulated are substantial. United are reportedly preparing an opening offer in the region of £60 million, a sum they believe reflects the defender's potential whilst also being palatable given the current state of the transfer market. From United's perspective, that figure is far from miserly. It represents one of their larger outlays on a single player in recent years, and the board are hopeful that the weight of the offer will be enough to initiate serious talks with Everton. Yet across Merseyside, the mood could not be more different. Everton's hierarchy, buoyed by the defender's recently signed contract, are believed to be unimpressed by the valuation. Those within Goodison Park circles suggest the club would not consider parting ways for anything less than £80 million. This stance is hardly surprising. Having only just secured Branthwaite's long-term commitment, Everton hold a strong hand at the negotiating table. Selling him now, and at a price they deem below his worth, would risk undermining both their squad and their supporters' confidence. For United, then, the challenge is clear. They must either raise their bid to match Everton's demands or risk watching the opportunity slip through their fingers once more. Negotiations of this sort are as much about brinkmanship as they are about finances, and both clubs know the power of holding firm. As 2026 draws nearer, all eyes will be on how this transfer saga unfolds. For Manchester United, securing Branthwaite would not merely be about adding another defender, it would signal a renewed ambition to restore defensive solidity and invest in the future, a statement of intent befitting the Old Trafford stage. Manchester United are once again turning their attention to continental Europe as they search for midfield reinforcements. Reports emerging this week suggest the Red Devils are preparing a January 2026 move for Sevilla's Lucien Agum, a player whose name has begun circulating widely in the transfer rumour mill. United's Portuguese head coach, Rubenamorim, has made no secret of his desire to strengthen the centre of the park. With injuries, uncertainty, and looming departures threatening to unsettle his squad, he has reportedly identified midfield recruitment as the top priority for the coming window. Agum, still only 23, has impressed since his switch from Inter Milan to Sevilla in 2024. In 2 seasons with the Andalusian outfit, he has already amassed 55 appearances across all competitions, finding the net twice and providing 3 assists, a steady return for a player more often lauded for his work without the ball than his contributions in attack. The Frenchman, once a standout for his nation's under-21 side, remains under contract at the Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan until June 2028. Sevilla's decision to tie him down on such terms reflected their confidence in his development, though it has not stopped speculation from gathering pace around his future. Unsurprisingly, United are not alone in their admiration. Reports from Spain, particularly via Fitches, claim that both Arsenal and Brighton and Hove Albion have placed the midfielder on their respective shortlists. The interest of such clubs underscores ggmu's growing reputation within European football. The same sources indicate United are prepared to place ggmu at the very top of their agenda this January. Unlike many speculative links, this is said to be a serious pursuit, shaped by Amorim's insistence that United cannot afford to delay their midfield rebuild. Financially, the move may not prove as complex as other high-profile pursuits. Sevilla are believed to be open to parting ways with ggmu should an offer in the region of €30 million, roughly £23 million, arrive. For a player of his age and pedigree, the figure is seen by many observers as a bargain in the current inflated market. ggmu's appeal lies not merely in statistics, but in his style. He is praised for his defensive awareness, positional discipline, and assuredness in possession. For a United side that has often looked unbalanced in the middle third, his profile seems tailor-made to address key weaknesses. The urgency stems from United's wider predicament. Casemiro, now entering the latter stages of his career, has already made it clear he will depart Old Trafford in the summer of 2026. His experience and presence will not be easily replaced, leaving a significant hole to be filled. Adding to the uncertainty is the situation surrounding younger talents. Kobbie Mainoo, despite his promise, has been linked with interest from elsewhere, while Manuel Ugarte's long-term role under Amorim remains uncertain. Such instability makes the need for reinforcements all the more pressing. Even Bruno Fernandes, United's captain and creative heartbeat, has been tipped to consider his options after the 2026 World Cup. If such an eventuality were to occur, United's midfield spine could risk being dismantled in a very short space of time. In this context, the acquisition of ggmu would not merely be prudent, it would be essential. Securing a player of his qualities and potential now could allow him to settle before taking on greater responsibility as the squad inevitably evolves. Supporters familiar with his performances in Spain will attest to his energy, robust physicality, and vision. Though not yet the finished article, ggmu has demonstrated the raw tools required to develop into one of Europe's premier midfielders over the next 5 years. Yet United will not have things their own way. Arsenal, renowned for their ability to attract young continental talent, and Brighton, whose recruitment model has earned plaudits across the league, are both monitoring the situation closely.